Sometimes people call and they're unclear if they have abuse in their fact situation. If they've been physically abused, emotionally abused, sexually abused, or if that's occurred with the children. Physical abuse typically starts with somebody pushing someone else, someone restraining someone, not letting them leave the room, grasping their arm, insisting that they stay and finish the conversation. And that person often will have bruising on their arms, or they are literally being pinned to a bed or to a wall, not allowed to leave. That is abuse. If that's happening to you, you need to seek help. You need to get out of that situation, because statistics show that that only escalates. People don't magically suddenly become less abusive. Their behavior is going to escalate unless they seek help. And help would be counseling. There are batters programs out there that are helpful to people. But if they're doing nothing, if they're saying to you, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again, and then next week, next month, you're having that similar altercation, that's not going to magically improve. It's going to get worse. And you're not doing a favor to your children by staying in an abusive situation. Another area of abuse is sexual abuse with children. And one thing that's not obvious to people that does fall under this category is walking in on the children when they're showering, walking in on the children when you know they're changing, not allowing teenagers their privacy. And that's an area that people don't, it's not apparent to a lot of people that that would be considered abuse, but it's inappropriate, and that's typically how it would start. And what I've heard in my cases, people say is, it's my house and I have a right to walk in there anytime I want. And that teenager isn't going to tell me not to come in while they're showering. But regardless of the gender of the parent and the child, it is inappropriate for a parent to walk in on a child when it's known that they would not be dressed, and that is considered abuse. Emotional abuse is calling names, telling somebody they're worthless, telling someone that they're no good. All of those hateful things that is emotional abuse. Telling somebody, threatening someone if they leave, what will happen if they leave, I'll take the children. That's all emotional abuse. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you to stay in that situation. Again, that's not going to magically improve. So if your spouse is not seeking help, if they're doing those things to you and they're not seeking help, it's only going to get worse. And I know sometimes people stay in a relationship because they think it's better for their children to stay in the relationship, and they don't want their children to be the subject of a broken family. But many, many studies show that it is not healthy for children to be witnessing that kind of relationship. And children will do better emotionally, developmentally, if you get them out of that situation, even if it's a divorce situation. The studies show, and there's been longitudinal studies now done because people have been divorced long enough to do that. And the studies show that children turn out no better and no worse in divorced families than in intact families if the parties act congenially to each other post-divorce. So if the adults can act like adults once they're divorced and can be polite to each other in public, and they don't say to their children, you're no good, such and such father or mother, if they would only do X, Y, Z, then we could buy shoes, or if they would only do X, Y, Z, you'd get to go to camp this summer. That's abusive, whether you're married or not married. But the studies show children of divorce turn out no better, no worse than intact families if the adults will behave politely. Is the best way to think about it. So if you think you might be in an abusive situation, there are many resources available. We have them on our website to get help and to get advice and to get out.